The Institute for Priestly Formation, located in Omaha, Nebraska, in partnership with Spirit Catholic Radio, is pleased to present the Lenten Reflection Series, The Journey to Jerusalem. Join Father Mark Toups as he helps us walk with Jesus on his journey to Jerusalem.
Monday of the third week of Lent.
My friends, welcome back to the Journey to Jerusalem. We find ourselves today in Luke chapter 7, looking at verse 39, where we read, "If this man were a prophet, he would know who and what sort of woman this is who was touching him, that she is a sinner." It's almost scandalous. The Pharisee, as this woman is touching Jesus, crying at Jesus, embracing Jesus with a contrite heart, this Pharisee is scandalized by this uninvited, unexpected guest. More scandalous is Jesus' acceptance of her. Unmoved by her authentic contrition, we read in Luke 7:39 that the Pharisee who had invited Jesus said to himself, "If this man were a prophet, he would know who and what sort of woman this is who is touching him, that she is a sinner." Ancient Judaism was littered with a litany of codes and classifications of who and what was clean and unclean. While it is true that sin was to be avoided at all costs, the uncompromising Mosaic law judged the sinner as the sin, thus classifying them as a category and a sort of person. Jesus is not scandalized because Jesus sees a woman. He sees a person. As the messianic bridegroom who has come to embrace the bride who is living with quote-unquote flat tires, Jesus sees underneath the sin and into the heart of a woman. Because Jesus has the eyes of love and mercy, Jesus peers underneath what she has done and sees the reasons for which she did it. Oftentimes when you and I see our sin, we too see categories. We see judgment. We see shame. We begin to place all this blame on ourselves and judge ourselves. Because we don't have the eyes of God, we see our sin through our eyes and we judge ourselves. That's why we feel ashamed. That's when we get more restless. Afraid of our sin and shame, we oftentimes further isolate ourselves from God and distance ourselves from the sin. Most of us try to get our act back together and live life better. And once we've quote-unquote cleaned up our lives a bit, then we'll return to God, hoping that He'll love us then. Now, my friends, that's exhausting. And if you're exhausted and you're tired of trying to manage your own life, if you're tired of trying to manage your own spiritual life, if you're tired of this spiritual treadmill that is exhausting but doesn't go anywhere, then here's the good news. God is love and He is mercy. God is filled with mercy and He sees us through His eyes. He sees underneath the sin. Julian of Norwich once said that when God sees sin, He sees pain in us. And knowing this, Blessed John Paul II once said that sin is medicinal. It's like a medicine that we're using to alleviate an interior ache. Many times our sinful actions are attempts to medicate interior restlessness or inner pain. Jesus is merciful with the sinful woman and with you, because Jesus sees underneath our sin and sees the restlessness that the sin came from. For your prayer today, I would encourage you to pray with Luke 7:36-43. Be with Jesus in the home of the Pharisee. Be in that scene. Be with them there. And be with the woman as she cries. What stirs in your heart as you look at Jesus' response as He sees underneath her sin? I would ask that you continue to ask for the grace of true contrition, that you might see what's underneath your sin. And pray this prayer with me today. Jesus, I long for inner peace and freedom. I desire to have nothing prevent me from receiving the fullness of your personal love for me. God bless you.
To listen to today's reflection again, or to order a copy of the Journey to Jerusalem booklet with the daily readings, the website is www.priestlyformation.org. Join Father Mark Toups during this Lenten season as he helps us walk with Jesus on his journey to Jerusalem.